What's up, YouTube? And I'm back at you in another video. And in this video, I'm going to give my prediction for the Tennessee Volunteers versus the Texas A&M Aggies. This is going to be a fun matchup, guys. You got two really good teams. Tennessee is the only team that's ranked right now, but they're going against a very, very good Texas A&M team. And it's going to be a very great game, in my opinion. You got a great offense, and Tennessee going against a great defense in Texas A&M. And I'm gonna just go ahead and read off the stats. I'm gonna start with the Tennessee Volunteers. Of course, they got Joe Milton. He's thrown for 1,164 yards. He has a completion percentage of 63.1. He has 9 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. So definitely a great player. In my opinion, he hasn't reached his peak yet. With the offense. I feel like he can do a whole lot better. But so far, he's been able to, you know, manage the game, and they're doing a phenomenal job. Great offense. They got Jalen Wright at running back as well as Jabari Small. Jalen Wright has 435 yards rushing. He has 1 touchdown, and Jabari Small has 317 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. But Dylan Sampson, this guy is doing a phenomenal job for them as well. He has 248 yards and he has 6 touchdowns on the season. So he has more than Jalen Wright and Jabari Small. Very, very talented running back. And Joe Milton is fourth on the team with 139 yards with 4 touchdowns. So uh, as well as last season, Tennessee continues to have a great run game. And they're doing a phenomenal job offensively. Like I said, not as explosive they was last season, but I feel like with time they're going to get there. They're going to be tasked with going against a great defense in Texas A&M, so it's going to be interesting. They lost Brew McCoy, another guy that was very, very good for them on the season, so they're definitely going to have to step up their receiving game. But they do have Squirrel Wright. He has 276 yards. Hasn't got a touchdown yet, which is weird. Me just saying that he doesn't have a touchdown yet. But Ramel Keaton, he has 3 with 230 yards receiving. Uh, and then they got McClellan Castles at tight end. He has 100 yards receiving and a touchdown. Like I said, the stats don't jump off at you right now, but this Tennessee team definitely has, some guys over there. They got a guy that I thought they was going to get, more involved in, Thante Thornton. He's another guy that they, I feel like they need to get, going. He has that speed, definitely going to need somebody to step up since Brew McCoy is not, playing right now with his injury. So uh, they definitely got to step it up. This Tennessee team definitely has the offense to do it. And they also got a talented guy on the bench in Nico. Very, very, talented quarterback coming in. He's a freshman, but uh, will we see him at some point in the season is going to be depending on how well Joe Milton continues to progress. Like I said, I've seen them at times. It seems like Joe Milton just doesn't have everything all together. Sometimes his passing has been off, but waiting on a great complete game for him, and he definitely has weapons all around him to get the job done offensively. Defensively, this Tennessee team uh, has 22 sacks on the season. That's really, really high. They got some guys over there. Aaron Beasley at linebacker. Um, they got some dogs over there. Kamal Hadden at DB. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, he has 2 interceptions on the season. So, I mean, they got a squad over there defensively. You can definitely tell that their defense has taken a step forward. Um, they're probably not where they want to be right now, but they're creating havoc in the backfield, and that's going to be interesting going in this matchup because Texas A&M had a problem with Alabama getting in the backfield, late in the second half of that game. So uh, it's going to be interesting to see. Tennessee's no slouch on the defensive front as well. So, and they got some guys on the back end. as well. Like I said, Kamel Hayden, he has 2 interceptions. So this Tennessee team, man, under Tim Banks, man, they're doing a phenomenal job. It's going to be interesting to see what they do. Dominic Bailey, a lot of guys, man. I could just go down this list. There's so many guys that I see over here that's contributing to that defense. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. Now, Texas A&M, they started Max Johnson, you know, uh, after Connor Wayman got his, injury. Uh, Max Johnson, a lot of people say since he's become the quarterback that, the team looks better. So far, he's thrown for 675 yards. He has 7 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. His last matchup against Alabama was able to move the ball a little bit, but in the second half, Alabama just completely shut down the offense. So uh, you got to give credit to Alabama's defense to be able to do that. But nevertheless, he's still dangerous, in passing the ball and distributing it through the offense. He has a great guy behind him at running back in Le'Veon Moss. This guy has 325 yards on the season and has 3 touchdowns. They got Maury Daniels. He has 287 yards and 2 touchdowns. So they have guys. Even Max Johnson can run the ball. Doesn't have a touchdown on the season rushing, but very, very talented team for that, Texas A&M Aggies. Anais Smith at wide receiver, 431 yards. Doesn't have a touchdown. That's another weird stat. These guys, Anais Smith and Square Right, these guys are the leading receivers, but neither one of these guys have a touchdown. So both of these guys are going to be hungry in this matchup. And I look for these 2 guys at receivers to try to, change their stats, going forward. But Evan Stewart is the guy for Texas A&M. Doesn't have the most receiving yards. He has 403 right behind Anais Smith, but he has 4 touchdowns on the season. So that's going to be Max Johnson's probably target between him and Anais Smith. And they also got Jack Johnson at tight end, his brother. This guy got a touchdown against Alabama last matchup. He has 156 yards with 2 touchdowns. They also got Moose Muhammad, 119 yards and a touchdown. Noah Thomas, he has 4 touchdowns with 118 yards. So this team is very, very talented. They got some guys on their offense as well as Tennessee does. So it's going to be a great matchup. I can't wait to see it and see who comes out on top. Defensively, Texas A&M has, in my opinion, one of the great defensive fronts in college football. They got a lot of guys, man, up there on the front, and they cause a lot of havoc, and they're really, really good at stopping the run. That's going to be key for Tennessee in this matchup to be able to establish the run. I think it's very important for them to do that because I think if Texas A&M is able to stop the run, it's going to be kind of hard, I think, for Tennessee to be able to pass on them. But I thought it was going to be hard for Alabama to pass the ball on Texas A&M, and they was able to do it. So it all depends on what Joe Milton does in this matchup. But they're stacked, man, on this defense. Edgerrin Cooper, he has 41 total tackles, and if I'm not mistaken, he's the leading tackler on the team. Yeah, he's the leading tackler. They also have Josh Dewberry. He has an interception on the team. If I had to say there's a weakness, it would be the back end of Texas A&M defense. Like I said in the last matchup, when Alabama played, Jalen Miro was able to pass for 321 yards. So Texas A&M definitely has to clean up the back end of their defense, but they apply a lot of pressure on their front. So it's going to be their defensive front against Tennessee's offensive line, offensive front. So I can't wait to see what this matchup, comes out to be. But I'm going to read off some more stats. Texas A&M is averaging 420 yards a game. That's 275 through the air and 144 on the ground. So Texas A&M got a decent offense, almost right there, 150 yards rushing and 275 through the air. That's really, really good. With Joe Petrino coming in, calling the plays, Texas A&M needed a facelift on their offense last season, and they're definitely putting getting some production out of their offense. Now, yards allowed, Texas A&M is allowing 268. yards a game. They're allowing 184 through the air, but they're only allowing 84 yards rushing. So, like I was saying, pretty good defense for Texas A&M, and they're holding opponents under 100 yards rushing. That's really, really good. That's an elite rushing defense. So, Tennessee is going to have to be able to run the ball, in my opinion, to win this matchup. Tennessee is getting 266 yards a game. They're getting 235 through the air, and they're getting 231 on the ground. Like I said, really, really efficient offense. Josh Heupel continues to put out elite offenses, and that's all you want, if you're a Tennessee fan. Um, Being able to get to 466, like I said, anything north of 450 yards and above, really, really good offense. So they're really, really balanced. Yards allowed, Tennessee is allowing 308 yards a game. They're allowing 192 through the air and 115 on the ground. They definitely want to cut down on opponents' run games with 115, but you got to be happy with Tennessee, being able to get better defensively, man. Like I said, they got some guys on that front seven that's creating havoc. And Tennessee is a great team, both offensively and defensively. Looking at each other, opponents' last games that they played, uh, Texas A&M played Miami, lost to them 48-33. Beat ULM, Louisiana Monroe 47-3. Beat Auburn 27-10. Beat Arkansas 34-22, and they took a loss to Alabama 26-20. So if you're looking at these, you know, yards that Arkansas is allowing, like they're not allowing too many points. You got to score at least 24 and above. Uh, Actually, you probably got at least score in the 30s. For the most part to beat Alabama. I know Alabama beat them 26-20. You got to score over 20 points to be able to beat Texas A&M, in my opinion. They got a really, really good defense despite their secondary. A really, really tough defense, to go against. Now, Tennessee, they beat Virginia 49-13. They beat Austin Peay 30-13. Lost to Florida. Head scratching lost to Florida. I don't know what happened in that matchup against Tennessee, against Florida. In my opinion, Florida is not a really good team, but some kind of way they was able to beat Tennessee. I know Tennessee went on the road, so maybe that had something to do with it. But definitely Tennessee want to get that back, try to right the wrongs on that. They beat UTSA 45-14, and they beat a team in South Carolina that they avenged their loss from last season. They beat them 41-20. So as you can see, Tennessee has a great offense, and when they put it all together, they can score, man. Like I said, I don't know what happened with Florida in that matchup. Florida just had their number, I guess. Tennessee was only scored 16 points in that matchup, but we're getting to the heart of the schedule, and I believe Tennessee's offense is going to real flourish going forward. Looking at the line for the game, is 3.5 points. It's going to be played in Knoxville, Tennessee. I got Tennessee winning this matchup. Um, I think Tennessee finds a way to produce some points against that Texas A&M defensive front. Like I said, they can be had in the secondary, and I think Tennessee is going to scheme it up really well. I like Josh Heupel going against that secondary. Um, he's one of the best at creating mismatches, and I think he's going to create mismatches in this matchup against Texas A&M secondary. Uh, Tennessee's offensive line has to hold up. They got to give Joe Milton time to throw. If he has time to throw, I really, really like Tennessee's chances of winning this matchup. And Tennessee must try to establish some type of run game. If Tennessee can establish a run game, I think Tennessee can run away with this matchup, make it a very, very easy win. It all depends on Texas A&M defensive front. And then Tennessee must get, continue their production on defense on Texas A&M. Like I said, Alabama was able to get pressure up front and was able to sack, Max Johnson a couple of times. So I expect Tennessee to get some pressure as well, getting back there and creating pressure. And this game could potentially get out of whack for Texas A&M. in my opinion, uh, Texas A&M offense is pretty good, but they've shown that that their O line might be a weakness. So I believe Tennessee is going to win this matchup. I believe Texas A&M is going to put up a good fight, but it's going to be on the road, and I just see Tennessee pulling it out. I think they have a lot of offensive firepower, and I think it's going to be hard to stop. But what do you guys think? Leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. And once again, if you haven't, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll definitely be back with more college football content. Thanks, guys, and roll tide.